Now, before I start talking about this, I will just say that a lot of things that happened between me and my ex, it was a big mess, to say the least. And honestly, looking back at it now, I always wonder how I could be such an idiot. And I think many people look back at similar things and think or wonder how they could be idiots. Um, but the thing is that nobody really gets into a relationship like that um, exactly knowing beforehand that it will turn out like that. And there's usually a lot of gaslighting going on. Like you get dragged into this rabbit hole kind of, and once you're in there, it's really difficult to get out of it. So just remember that when you hear really stupid things. Uh, so yeah, I will start off with telling you how I met my ex-girlfriend. This is a little bit silly, but I met her on a social media game, and I was not out after dating or any kind of relationship like that. I had been there for quite a long time. I still go on there and talk to my friends, and um, so she was kind of new, and I don't remember how, but oh yeah, I do remember now. I had a very close friend on there. I don't know. I think they met and started chatting with each other, and I was always hanging out with my friend. So my ex would join the group, and and I thought that she was really funny. Later on, I wanted to become better friends with her, but first it was like, at the time it was around maybe 2016, I think, that we met. Oh yeah, it was. It was my. I remember it was my first year of high school. Uh, and and at the time, I was joking around a lot, and yeah, she was also joking around a lot, and I guess she was kind of jokingly flirting with my best friend, and this was all a joke, okay? So I wanted to become better friends with her, also because I think it was because, yeah, it was because she, like, the group I was with, I was only, there was a group, and my best friend knew all of them, but I didn't really know any of them, and I really tried to, talk to everyone and become closer to them, but they never really accepted me, I guess, and they always talked in another language. They all knew the same language, so they never spoke in English, and it was just, and they hung out almost all the time, so it was really difficult for me to join in their conversations. So that kind of made me a bit annoyed. So, but my ex somehow became, we were quite similar, but she somehow became really good friends with all of them. So I don't know if it was a revenge or I don't know what it was, but I wanted to become her best friend or something like that, or at least very good friends with her. We did become very good friends, and it wasn't just like me trying to get to know her because she was so liked by everyone, but it was because I also thought that we had very similar humor. Yeah, in general we were our personalities were very similar, and and she at first she started out with presenting herself as a guy, and now I know this may sound problematic, but I will explain. And she posted, I guess, her picture of herself, but it wasn't of her. It was of her friend. So she presented herself as her friend, and I did not know that at all. So I thought she was a guy. We got to know each other for about a year or a couple of months on that game, and then I tried to convince her to move to a texting app, where we also had another friend who joined us. So I said that all of us should go there and have a group chat instead. So after a while she did, and like we started talking even more often, and we would literally talk every day, like almost all day. And we did this for a year. After that, she went to university, despite being the same age as me. I don't remember if I thought that she was older. I don't think so. Or maybe I did. I'm not sure. But she would go on these long breaks to study for her exams. And so we wouldn't talk for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. But when she got back, or before she got back, she told me that she wanted to tell me something. So I asked her what it was, but then she just said that it was nothing. And after that she left. And me being me, I have a very morbid curiosity, so I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I would go back in our conversations to try to find like anything that would be hinting at whatever it was she wanted to tell me that I might have missed. So and I tried to analyze some texts until she said that, and some of it after. And something quite interesting with that is that recently I got into discourse analysis. What I did back then was quite similar to a discourse analysis, and even though it's not like the same thing, but it was very similar. So I don't know, just a side thing. I thought was interesting. I kind of enjoyed doing that. Anyways, so I came up with a few conclusions, I guess, and one was that she might have lied to me about her being a guy, and another was that she was gonna leave, I guess. And the other ones I don't really remember what they were. So I asked her. Oh, the third I think might have been like something that maybe she liked me more than a friend. When she got back, I asked her if she was. I don't know if I was just joking about it, but I mentioned that something like that. She's not a guy, and I guess she laughed about it too and said that's not it. And so I trusted her, and and I really believed her because she would send a lot of picture like when she did things or he did things. And she had even sent a couple of videos, and she, like one she had been singing, although it was not a video of her face, and a few like voice messages. So almost after 2 years of knowing her, it was I think 2017 in spring, I think. I don't know really what happened, but she said that she got angry about something, and I really didn't know what it was. And then she said she was gonna delete everything and disappear. And like that really scared me, because she had quite a tough family situation. So I tried to. She didn't delete it immediately. I tried to send her messages, and I tried to make it talk to me. When she replied, she said that she had been holding onto something that she was never able to tell me, because she knew that it wouldn't work or something like that. So first she confessed, and she said that she had been liking me for quite a long time, and that at first she never planned on getting close to anyone, but that she was just messing around. But then she ended up liking me, and she knew that we had talked about nearly everything. She knew about my depression, about me being suicidal, and about me self-harming and whatnot. And she had always been there for me, and I would lie if I said that she didn't keep me away from taking my own life. So, and this during high school. So she confessed, and oh yeah, she knew that also that I was not interested in getting romantically involved with anyone, and like that I didn't really have that kind of desire, and it was kind of very complicated for me. And also at that time I guess I identified with being homosexual. Even though I don't really care about gender, but it was also, I had a couple of friends confess to me that were girls, and since I wasn't really interested in that kind of relationship with anyone, and I didn't want anyone to think that I was out after that or trying to flirt with anyone. So I always just said I was gay, even though I don't really care. And she said she gave me this kind of, she put me in this really, I really hate that she did this. She put me in this kind of situation that she gave me two choices, and if I didn't accept becoming something more than friends, she would leave, and she would delete herself from social medias, and I had no other way to contact her. And after having spent so much time with someone, especially at vulnerable times, like it's really, really difficult to just say, okay, let's never talk to each other again because I don't want a relationship. Because I genuinely cared about her, and I had never really been close to anyone who was so similar to myself. So that really, it scared me, like the thought of losing her like that, just like in a day, be gone forever. Like these 2 years never happened, and like it's not only 2 years that never happened. It's like literally having been talking non-stop every day for 2 years almost. So that was a really complicated situation, and so I thought like maybe that I could give it a shot, I guess. Like she said, we couldn't be friends if I rejected her, and I guess I was kind of curious also about having a relationship, and I did kind of like her. I did kind of. I guess I would lie if I said I wasn't. Like I was a little bit interested, maybe. So I was really scared because it was so sudden. It was really rushed. Even though I said I could give it a shot, I was really scared. And after a while, like first everything was alright. I felt kind of safe, and things were back to normal. But after 3 days, she told me she is not who I thought she was. And she told me that um, she's a girl, and that she had been using her friends' pictures and videos, and that even some of her was her trying to kind of be someone else, but she was still still the same person. What bothered me a lot was, like, a while after, like maybe months after, was that I asked her if she's like, she told me she didn't care what gender I'd use for her. So I asked her if she was non-binary or gender fluid or something, and she said she felt a bit non-binary, I guess, or that she was non-binary, kind of. And so I took that as her wanting me to use, you know, uh, neutral pronouns. Um, I'm not sure if this was after I asked her what pronouns she would like me to use. So at first, out of habit, I called her he. But at some point, I changed it to them. I think that was when I knew, when she told me she's non-binary. But like, after those 3 days of being in the relationship, and then a week after, she told me she wanted to break up, and then, like, I really didn't know what was going on, and then at first she didn't really tell me why, and then I told her that, no, then she told me that she thought that I didn't love her, and I tried to explain myself. I really didn't see what about what I was doing was made her feel like that. So that was the first time. She told me that I wasn't acting any different than when we were friends. And that might have been true, but I also don't see why I would act any different. She knew from before that I have a lot of difficulties expressing myself, and like, I do things my own way. I never try to intentionally hurt someone, and I'm not very emotional. Like, I feel things. I can feel emotional, but I don't act it out really. But also at that time, I was like, my emotional state was very limited. But yeah, after that, she tried to break up a couple of times. Like, it would happen quite often, maybe 2 times a month. And I always had to, like, write essays to her, and about, like, why she shouldn't leave, and that, like, trying to clear up any misunderstandings. And yeah, that was also, like, I would never do that now, and I wouldn't have done it back then either. It's just she was so close to me before, even though she said even though she had lied to me for 2 years. After, now where was I? Please excuse that. Yeah, after trying to break up so many times, at some point I don't know, I was in such a bad state. I was really stressed. I felt like, oh, when is she gonna try to break up again? When is the next misunderstanding going to be? It was really unpredictable. And so this was in spring, and then during, like, in the middle of summer perhaps, that was, I don't know if that was this. I don't think that was the second time I moved. Yeah, no, actually it was the second time I moved in with my uncle and aunt, and I don't really remember why I moved in the second time. Maybe it was because my father was still kind of seeing his ex-girlfriend. Maybe. Um, oh, I think I just had some kind of breakdown from the stress. Sorry, I don't remember if I mentioned it, but at the time she said that she was going to delete everything, and she did. So she was just suddenly gone. And I think I had her on Instagram at the time, so I tried to send her messages, and I guess I ended up having some kind of breakdown, and I went out to the woods, to a place I really like to be at. There's a lot of larvas. What are they called? The butterfly grubs. And I went there, and I just sat there almost a whole day, and it started raining, and I was soaked. Everything was so miserable. And I did feel suicidal, I'm not gonna lie. And she ended up contacting me. And I'm not sure if she did delete the texting. Maybe she may had a second one, perhaps. I don't quite remember, but I remember that at some point she called me, and like, she had a really caring side. But a lot of people who are abusive do have a caring side. So, like, even a nice person who genuinely loves someone can also be really abusive and toxic. That's just one thing that makes it more hard for, I think, the victim to believe that something is really wrong with the relationship. And also, other people around you will most likely not believe you when you say, or if you say, how bad it is. But she told me, I think she apologized, and she came back and told me to go home and take care of myself. And like, she stayed with me almost the whole time on call. And yeah, so, but that was probably almost my worst reaction. But somewhere in that mess, I also realized that I couldn't continue being in this kind of relationship. But for a while I also was kind of in denial. I didn't want to believe that she was a bad person. I don't know if you could say it like this, but maybe I kind of gaslit myself into believing that despite being really toxic, that she's just doing it out of love. She actually always said that whatever she did, it was out of love, and that she cares, and that she's like missing me too much, or she cares too much about me, or she has never met someone like me, and that it's making her feel insecure. So that's why she does awful things. Now, I'm not saying that's a lie, because she really was insecure. She was super insecure. She had really bad confidence. Her friends, they were very superficial. I think that's what it's called, superficial. And all they care about was looks, and they were also quite rude to her, really mean. Like they would say that she's ugly. And so she had a huge complex about her looks. And I always tried to like tell her that it really doesn't matter for me what you look like. But you know, it's not that easy. Even her own mother would tell her that she's ugly and that she needs surgery, which is fucking insane. So I'm not saying that what she said were lies. I do believe that when she told me about the things she does, that I do believe that they were true. But despite that, I don't think that that's any excuse for you to actually treat someone so bad, and treat them like, I don't know, however you want. And it is a form of gaslighting to say that you do bad things to someone because you actually love them. And if it is something that you can relate to that happens to you, I think that you really should try to reflect on it, on what your actions are and how you're talking to your partner. Because for some, you really aren't aware that you are actually gaslighting someone. So it's really important to try to research and be aware of that these things exist and they do hurt. And many times these expectations that exist in how we are viewing love and relationships, they are really toxic. They can be extremely unhealthy. And she did have really bad expectations of the relationship and of me. Even though I had talked to her that she shouldn't expect some of those things of me, because I really can't provide. But you know, I don't know, she still insisted, and she still expected me to do those things, and some of them were really, really strange. Like, she expected me to be able to read her mind and always know what mood she's in, and expect she expected me to always trying to comfort her, always trying to know when to tell her that she's beautiful, or know when to tell her that, I don't know, almost everything. And with the moods, like, a lot of bad things would happen to her in real life, and maybe she would be in a bad mood or angry or really sad, and I really did not know it because she didn't tell me. And I always want to try to be positive and cheerful. So I was just like that, and she would get really angry, and at times she would try to put me down so that I would be feeling really bad. And that's because she told me this. She has told me all these things, like why she did what she did at some point. And she did tell me that she hated it when someone was happy when she's sad, so she tried to put them down. And even if I knew that she was feeling really bad or sad, of course it's natural to be wanting to try to cheer someone up. For me, I always get cheered up if someone, just talks to me, or is kind in general, or is maybe asks me if I want to watch something with them or do something with them. Like, that really, really makes me happy. So I tried to do those things to her, but I guess she hated it, and she also got angrier and told me that I'm always trying to make her happy when she's not, and that it's, I don't know, it's stupid, or it's, I don't know. She was angry, at least. She was really angry. And whenever these things happened, I apologized to her. I told her I was sorry. I told her I would never do it again. And this is where it became very intense, because she was trying to modify my behavior, and she was trying to make me into something that she wants. That she wanted me to be a certain way. It actually worked. There were times where she also told me that, like, she talked about my how I acted and what I was like, and I think this was a bit later. She said that I was an idiot, and that I know nothing about being sensible. She also told me that I'm not aware of anything, and I guess that I'm really, really bad at reading people. But they were more like straight out insults. Now I don't remember exactly how I reacted, but I was pretty sure that I was really confused, and you may wonder why I wasn't pissed off. And that was because if I ever would hint at being angry with her, she would use that against me, and like call me out on it and tell me how bad I am, and like say something like, oh, this is exactly what my mother did, or you're just like them, or like I was really afraid to show anger. And well, I was also really afraid to show any other kind of emotion. So there was this, there's this really strange twist, because at one, like, on one side she would tell me that I'm expressionless and that I'm cold and that I can't read people and that I don't love her and whatnot. But on the other hand, she would tell me that I'm too expressive and that I'm too happy, or too like unaware about her feelings, I guess. So she would get angry either way. Like if I was a happy person or a sad person, like if I did these things where she thought was unfit, she would get angry. Like any of it. But she would say like, oh, you're being happy now, you can't be happy when I'm sad. And then when I wasn't happy when she sad, she says, aren't you gonna say something? Aren't you going to try to cheer me up? You never try to cheer me up anymore. And I told her like, well, I thought you didn't like it. And then she said, maybe she said something like that she was just testing me, or like she wants me to stay the same even though she says those things. A huge mess. A huge mess. And of course, like, shit was getting insane. And when we first got together, maybe it was the first week, or maybe the next week, it was still in the beginning of the relationship, she wanted to call me. And I don't know how many times I might have mentioned this. At least I have said it to so many online friends that I have a lot of anxiety, especially with like talking to people. It could be over the phone or in person, like anything. This kind of situation really gives me anxiety, and I literally shake, and it's really difficult for me to talk, and I just feel really bad. And I might even not be able to, like the first try might fail. Like I might not even say anything, I might not even answer, I might close it down or something. She knew this, but she still kept saying that, we are in a relationship, this is what lovers do. So I thought, okay, now I have to, like, I don't want her to think that I'm not loving her. So I have to do this, because this is what you're supposed to do. So I was really pushed into calling, and I was feeling like shit. But I called her, and I think we even did it while I was drunk. I don't know whose idea it was to drink, but I got drunk, also because when I'm drunk I'm not as nervous. I guess it helps, but it's not healthy, and I do not recommend that you get drunk. So I was drunk, was feeling like shit, called her, didn't talk much, but still talked. And I think she was kind of tipsy too, because she had been out with her friends and had been drinking. And after that, she would try to make me call her quite a lot. And every time was still difficult for me. And then, this might be a bit of a messy story, because I don't remember exactly when the things happened. But I'm just gonna bring it up, and we'll see if it makes any sense. So, since we were lovers, she also expected me to be sexual with her. And if there's anything, like, I'm a bit uncomfortable with romantic relationships, but I'm even more uncomfortable about sexual relationships. This might be like some kind of paradox, because I'm super open about sexual stuff. I'm really open about it. I love BDSM. And I love to just talk about it, because it's so interesting to know how people get into their kinks and what they think about stuff. And I don't know, it's just so interesting. Not even sexually interesting, it's just the concept is very interesting. Also because I found out about my kinks in really strange ways. So yeah. But I guess she had this. I'm very sure that I told her that I'm not comfortable, even though I really like BDSM. I'm not comfortable with sexual stuff. But she still had this I guess an image of me being really sexual, I guess. So she really expected me to be sexual with her. She was a very sexual person. Very sexual. So she expected me to be the same, or to fulfill her needs. I really hope my neighbor doesn't hear. Although I'm comfortable, I don't want my neighbors to hear me talking about this. Yikes. So I'll try to talk about it quieter. Rest in peace, English. I'm so sorry. So she really had this expectation, also because she saw that lovers have to, sexually please each other. And by the way, our relationship was, of course, a long distance relationship. So whatever we had to do, we had to do it like through our phones. And I wasn't comfortable, of course, but she tried to convince me. And I think at some point, before I did anything, she tried to break up with me, because she said something like, "Oh, I don't think you really love me, because you're not sexually attracted to me, or you don't want to do these things." So I thought that if I like her, I have to do these things. And I thought also that it was natural, like that's the shit you do. God, it's so stupid when I think about it now. So stupid. So I guess at some point I tried to send her stuff. What's so even more stupid is that she didn't really send the things I sent. And I did say that I didn't mind, but I lied. I was crazy scared to make any demands. So that happened. And I'm just gonna be like straight on point and say that we started. I was really uncomfortable with video calling, but you know how the story goes. And we ended up video calling, and we just generally called each other a lot. And even like we would call each other and sleep. Like when one person was sleeping, the other stayed on call. And well, that didn't happen too often. But from my side, it happened way too often. Because I think there was sometimes she got angry at me because I had ended a call. And she had got in this really bad mood, and usually it went like she would be really cold, or she would ignore me, or she would be, passive aggressive, very passive aggressive, like sending short messages, or if I told her about something that made me happy, she would just put me down by being passive aggressive, or showing something like that she doesn't care about it. So after that, I was really scared to hang up, and sometimes I would just leave my phone. I wouldn't listen to anything. I would just leave my phone on, because I knew what time she would wake up. And many times while we were calling, she would randomly hang up, go into one of those moods again, not telling me what was wrong, expecting me to know exactly why she did what she did. And she was like, I won't tell you because you have to know yourself what it is, what it is you did. And she said, I won't talk to you until you know what it is, I suppose. So I would just sit for hours trying to figure out what it was I was doing wrong. And honestly, I don't even remember what it was. It was always something really stupid. Because I never did anything wrong. I never said anything mean. I was never angry with her. I was just breathing, and it was wrong. One time, I think I was feeling really bad. I was super depressed. And I don't know what happened. I might have written it in my journal somewhere, or on a paper. I might have ripped those pages out. I don't know. She got angry, or something happened. Maybe a conflict. I don't know. I was feeling like shit, and then she said something like, if you want me to stay, and if you really love me, then you have to do as I say. And this was all on video call. And at this point, I was so gaslit or gaslighted, I don't know how to say it, that I actually did what she said. And she said that I have to harm myself if I don't know if I love her, but I don't know. But she said that I have to harm myself and show it to her. It's so stupid. I actually did. I didn't do it like hard or anything. But it's also because I have such a long history of self-harming that I didn't really care if I had another scratch on my arm. But it happened. I did it. She got out of her mood. I think she became sad, maybe. But she also got angry, but more like lovingly angry. And she scolded me, told me to never do it again. Now I don't remember if this was before or after. I think it might have been before, but she told me to. Oh my god! She told me to get down on my knees and apologize, like on the floor. It's so absurd. Yeah, I did that. Oh god, yeah, I did that, and yeah, I guess then it was over. To my relief. And if we move forward a bit, like a lot of stuff happened before this as well. Like there was never a way for me to predict when she was in a bad mood next, or when she would try to put me down next, or when I had to write another essay to her next, having to explain myself, and telling her how what in my behavior was wrong and that I would change. But there was this time where I live. There were going to be Nazis from, I guess, I don't know if it was from all over the world or just from Europe. I'm guessing it was from that they were trying all over the world, but it was mostly Europe. They were going to march on the street, and I don't know if this was just some kind of media trying to blow it up out of proportion, or if it was actually true that I think it was kind of true that there has not been a march this big before, at least not in our city. And there was a lot of media really tried to rile up people, like saying like that shit's gonna go down, basically. And there was a lot of different groups, both like established political groups that were gonna be like they were trying to organize a demonstration or something. But there were also revolutionary groups who were trying to organize people against the Nazis. And I saw this and I thought, like, I'm not gonna sit home and just like do nothing. I can't do that. Like, this is some serious shit going on. So I went with my uncle to the demonstration. I think this was at the same time as some kind of book fair. So I went there with my uncle. I was so riled up, like nervous, anxious, but also excited because there were so many people out. And also, it's not so weird because they literally closed down our whole city for like maybe, I don't know, 200 Nazis, maybe less, I don't know. But there were not many. There were not as many as they said there were gonna be, at least. And so they closed down our whole city, like traffic. They're like so many meters away from their like marching route. At first, I don't think they had any. What is it called? Is it permit? Maybe. Let me look it up. I have to look it up. It is relevant for this story, so I'm gonna talk about it. Maybe is it? Let's just see what permit means first before I use it. Permit, Swedish. Let's see. I guess it is a permit. I'm not sure, but let's just call it a permit. They had no permit from the police because you have to have one in order to demonstrate. Especially if you're going to march, you have to have one. And I think they didn't have one at first, but then they got one. But the police said they had to take a different route. And I think this route was actually kept away from the public because the police are bastards. I hate the police. I'm not gonna say that I like the police. Maybe I will go into that some other time. Anyways. So, while the Nazis were arriving, like, they had to close down many meters away with riot fences. They also had so many police cars. Like, they had prepared for a gigantic riot. And they were super organized, the police. They had organized that shit for a very long time. They cannot have been just doing that in one day. It's impossible. And there were police from all over Sweden who went there. And they also had prepared with, I think they had prepared with like, I don't know what it's called, maybe riot prisons, temporary ones. So you can imagine how much people were out, like, wondering what the fuck was going on. And people were going back and forth and trying to, like, get into the Nazis, because a lot of people don't want Nazis on the streets. So if they're Nazis on the streets, they're gonna fucking beat them up. And so yeah, it was a huge thing, but it was also blown out of proportion because there were just a few Nazis, and that's exactly what they want. They want media coverage, and they want all this attention. Like, it's, you spread it so much, you spread their ideas, everything. But there were no riot in that sense. The Nazis didn't want to listen to the police. Some got arrested. They were quite rowdy, I guess, and like there were some anti-fascist, I think, who actually managed to take down some of the fences so people could walk in, and they did. So the Nazi space got very small, and like they couldn't walk the route they were supposed to. So they actually marched. It wasn't long at all. Like they marched to, like from an Ica, sorry, Ica. I don't know. It's called Ica. Fuck. I'll just say it in Swedish. They walked from an Ica store to another Ica store that was maybe a couple of 100 meters away, a bit more maybe, but it wasn't long, not long at all. And then they were stuck. So I went on a huge tangent now, so I'm just gonna go back. So while I was at this huge event, I had told my ex about it. I was kind of stupid at that time. I wasn't very politically aware, and I wasn't really aware of safety. So it kind of, like, there was so much people, and I wanted to show it on Instagram, I guess. So I live sent some, just showing the crowd, which is really stupid. Don't do that. It risks people's identity. And like it can be used to identify people who are against the Nazis, or people in general who are radical leftists. So don't take pictures, don't post it anywhere, don't film at events like that, no matter how cool it might be. And if you do, just censor everyone's faces. But like it's better not to do it. Also because the Nazis also use these images to track down people. It can get bloody, so don't do that. Anyways, so I live sent it, and my ex saw, and she got pissed as fuck. So she got pissed. She sent me messages, told me that, I don't know, I don't think she even told me that she was angry. She just, I was going to the bathroom in McDonald's, so I got some Wi-Fi, and my internet was very, very limited, and I didn't want to waste it, but I wanted to film it, so I did. But when I messaged her, I told her some things, and then I didn't answer when she replied, I guess. And after that, like when I could get back to her, I told her that I don't have Wi-Fi and it's limited, so I can't talk much. I can't send many messages, and I will like turn it off. And also because my battery was super low. But she got super pissed about it, and said like, "Oh, the only thing you care about is that event. You only care about like, I guess not. I don't think she said specific politics, but she said something like about politics." And I had never really gotten pissed at her, never lashed out, never been angry. But like, Nazis are on my fucking street, and you dare to whip up a conflict? Like, how I don't know how you can't be angry about that. Like, that was really the wake-up call for me. Like, this, if she can't support me be trying to be political, then this ain't it, really. Like, no, 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 just no. So I got pissed. I don't remember what I wrote to her. I'm really sorry. I wish I did. But I think I probably talked back to her. Not in a mean way, just like being upset about it, I think. She also said that how I could like prioritize Instagram over her, I guess. And like, dude, I should do whatever the fuck I want. I should be able to stream. I should be able to, like, I hadn't been talking about wanting to stream things because it was a cool feature. And I have a lot of online friends that I don't talk with. So streaming would be like kind of a cool thing to do so I could talk to them. But no, she said that I'm not allowed to stream unless she's there. Yeah, so I got pissed. And I think at that point I really started thinking, like, getting familiar with the idea of breaking up with her. But yes, it does not end here. It never ends. I we kind of, I guess she apologized and then we solved it. But I was still very disappointed and put off. And, you know, shit was same. There was no difference. But I was starting to, you know, get familiar with trying to break up with her. And I actually did. I did break up. I think I even broke up with her twice after that. But she still, like, I kept wanting to believe that she would change, and so I gave her chances. I really did. I gave her chances. She, now even later, she told me, I don't know, something happened. Maybe it was the second time I tried to break up with her, or maybe it was another time. I don't know. She told me that she, up until now, or up until then, that she admitted that she had been bad, and some things she did on intentionally, because she liked how I reacted, and she liked how I wrote essays to her. She liked how I always tried to, like, solve things despite her being impossible. So she told me she had done all those things because she wanted to meet me. She said if she would meet me, she would not be the way she is now. I don't know. At that point I didn't know, I didn't believe her at all. But I thought, you know, this is my last try now. And she had told me that she was going to Korea to visit her relatives. And she tried to convince me to go meet her, I guess. And Korea was closer than the country she lived in. And I thought, I didn't want to at first. I really didn't. Like, I knew it was a really bad idea. But I had also not traveled for years. And I thought, you know what, this is my absolute last try. And I thought that I will break up with her after. So I went to Korea, and it was hell. There were a lot of exciting events, and we did a lot of fun things, but it was worse than those texts. It maybe the same, but kind of worse, because she did those things in real life. She I had rented an apartment, so I lived alone. She knew that I have a lot of anxiety, and I'm really scared being like at unfamiliar places, let alone being in a country I've never been in before. And I asked her that if I go there, that I need support. I really need support. I might not be able to do some things on my own. And I asked her if she's okay with it. And she said yes, and that I shouldn't worry, and that she could do that. She could support me. But like, she did support me at times, but there was also times she completely neglected me. Like, I know you can't really predict some events, but I think I stayed there for now, was it 13 days? I don't remember. Maybe it was right before Christmas. I also fell ill, as in I caught a bad cold. So the flight there was absolutely horrible. I felt like I was suffocating on the plane, and I missed Christmas with my family. At times, like, we had planned a lot of things beforehand. But when we went out and did the things we had planned, everything was alright. Like, she looked happy, we joked a lot, she laughed a lot, I laughed a lot. But whenever I came home, often late at night, she would send me a message or be upset, or like, not tell me, but she would act odd. And one time she said that I didn't want to hold her hand, which wasn't true. We were on the street. She had told me before that she hates public display of affection. So I made sure to remember not to do anything in public. So when we were walking down the street, there was a guy, or a man, on the other side. And like, this was in the middle of the winter. I don't think I had any mittens. She showed me her hand, like, just open. And I thought that she was joking with me. So I wanted to joke back, and I gave her a high five. And I'm quite sure she laughed about it. And then we went to a cafe, and we did mugs. When I got home, she was pissed, and I told her about the misunderstanding, but I don't know. And then when we went to an amusement park, I don't remember exactly why she was angry. I think I was maybe 15 minutes late, and that was because I was feeling really ill. I told her that, and I was looking for something that I couldn't find. And I was just really stressed, but then I went there. I think it was even 10 minutes late, I don't know. Uh, we talked a little and everything seemed fine. I apologized, of course, because I was late. And like everything seemed fine until we went there, I guess. But in that, when we were standing and waiting for a ride, she just completely ignored me. And she would like give me these she would look at me really passive aggressive, kind of like squinty. I know it sounds really dramatic, but it kind of was. It was making me really nervous, and I asked her what was wrong, if there's anything wrong, and I thought she was joking first, so I left it away a bit, but then when we were waiting for almost over an hour, and she didn't talk to me, like she didn't answer me, she just looked at me and then she looked back. So I was I stopped asking about it. I guess I just waited, but I was feeling really bad until she suddenly just like everything seemed fine and she started talking again. But I think I don't know if she might have said that it was because I was late or something. I don't know. But I had already apologized, so I don't know. I don't know. But it happened again that she would ignore me. It happened on our way to the tower. She ignored me the whole way. We were walking up hills, and I really can't remember why. I think later on she said that it was because I wasn't affectionate with her, I guess. I was kind of affectionate. At least way more than I am. I'm not really affectionate in public. Because I'm suspecting that I have scopophobia, which means that you have a phobia of having any kind of attention, or if people look at you, and generally of like being watched or stared at. So I never do anything extraordinary in public. Uh, that's why I sometimes have, especially in stores, I have a very difficult time if my friends are fooling around. It gives me a lot of anxiety. It might be a bit better now, but it's still very anxious. And so yeah, she in the tower she told me like, I don't remember what she said before, but she told me if you love me, kiss me now, in front of these people. Or something like about me not doing anything in public, and like I guess I didn't really have anything really against it, but she made it like such a big thing. So I gave her a kiss, and then everything was fine. So another thing, as I said before, I really need support because of my anxiety, especially when I'm outside. I have to feel safe and be able to trust the person I'm with. I didn't know the trains or where they go. Like I'm really scared to get lost. And not find my way back. And like my phone was had a lot of issues too, like it would die extremely fast, even though I had it fully charged and not been using it. And it was also during the winter, so iPhones don't really work during the winter, they just die. But like she followed me down to the train because she was gonna take the other one back to her aunt. But like when we got down, she literally pushed me to the train I was gonna take, and then her train was already there, and she just went in, and I guess just left me there. She didn't say anything. She didn't even look back. I looked back, and I was so confused, and like I don't know what's going on. So she disappeared. Then I got home. She sent me a message. She was angry. She told me like, why didn't you didn't even look back when I left, you didn't even say anything. And then I told her like, what do you mean? I did look back, but you didn't see. Now going on to something that is probably a bit more difficult to talk about, and difficult also for maybe if you're sensitive about sexual abuse, then I suggest you don't listen from here, or if you're really uncomfortable about those things. So, oh god, this is still recording. This is very long. Oh well. I stayed there over Christmas and New Year's, and sometimes she would come to me whenever she came to my apartment. Whenever she came to my apartment, she, like, if I was in the bed, she would cuddle, and a lot of times she tried to, go further. Like, I'd never kissed before, so she had more experience than I did, and she tried to get me into it. I was not comfortable. I did not like kissing her, and whenever I tried to pull back, she forced me back my head. Like, she would literally grip onto my head and keep me from moving away. And when I think about now, it was just so disgusting. She used her tongue, and it just felt like a wet snail, if not worse. And ugh, no, I did not like that. It was not my thing. And I didn't want to kiss her. At least not with the tongue. Hello, neighbor. But you see, I was terrified to reject her. Now, this might have been more different if it was on the phone. Not that I think you can kiss each other on the phone, but like doing things like that. Then you could kind of try to talk your way out of it, but I was so terrified that she would get angry and that she would just leave me and not come and see me. Like, literally just leave me. Leave me in Korea all alone with my anxiety and my depression and my super bad sense of direction. So I just tried to endure it. She knew that I had, she knew that I couldn't be touched. on certain places. But she tried to do it anyway. I, of course, almost out of instinct, like, wouldn't let her. But like, there were some things that I was too scared to not let her do. Like, I think, she straddled my thigh, and she, like, I don't know, is it called like dry humping or something? But with just her panties, and it was, I did not like it. I was feeling really bad and I did not enjoy it, but I tried to enjoy it because I was too scared to say no. And like, she tried to take my pants off, but I did kind of reject her, but not really straight on rejecting. And after that, she didn't really go further, like, in that moment, but she tried to make me touch her. This might have been like at mixed times, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it anyway. And like, she also did touch me on the places I explicitly told her was not okay. And when she did that, I did get, I was so shocked that I laughed about it. Like, I laughed it off. And she laughed about it, even though I said, like, I asked her, like, what are you doing? I told you I don't like being touched there. Yeah, I felt disgusting after that, and so, wait, this tap is broken, it keeps dripping. I remember now. So she knew that I like BDSM, but the thing is with BDSM is that, like, it's supposed to be enjoyable for both of you if you are two people, and if you're more, then it has to be enjoyable for all of you. And like, this shit isn't something you can just do whenever you think is appropriate for you. Like, liking BDSM doesn't mean that you are open for any kind of sexual activity at any time. Like, something that is so fucking important is that you need to have consent. And consent is not trying to push someone into doing something. Consent is not consent is not someone being quiet. It doesn't mean, like, that's not consent. Consent is not, like, if someone's unsure, that's also not consent. Like, it's better not doing it than doing it. When someone says, yes, I want to do this, and you have talked it through, and you both know limits, and, like, you have to trust each other, and you also have to not break boundaries, and you have to be sensible and attentive, like, so that in case the person consented and then kind of like is starting to not like it, that you try to pick it up and like occasionally maybe ask like, how are you doing, are you okay with this, should I continue? So yeah, but that never happened to me. um um so she knew that I'm into BDSM, and I like um I guess I'm more drawn to people. It's more different now, but at that time I was a lot more drawn to people who are dominant. Um, so she tried to get into my pants and to touch my booty, and she did not ask me about it. Like, I thought that she was going to hug me, but she, like, from behind, shoved her hands down my pants and down my boxers, and I got so terrified. I tried to fight her off this time. I thought that she really was was really like stepping over the boundary. And like I grabbed both of her hands and tried to pull them out of my pants. But she was also like fighting back and trying to shove her finger down my butt crack. So that was it was a really traumatizing experience. Um, of course, after the trip, I think a couple of days after I broke up with her, I really never addressed what had happened. Honestly, I don't know why, but maybe it was because I was so traumatized by it that I kind of tried to push it back. Yeah, there was also a point, like, I don't know if it was after that, but I was feeling so unwell. I had a panic attack. She wasn't going to see me for 2 days. I think she was gonna be with a friend. She also hadn't. She never told me about this before I went there, that she would be with a friend. So I sent a text to my father and said that I wasn't feeling really well and that I might be wanting to go home. But I was also feeling so guilty and so bad that I had gone there and, like, then have to pay again for a ticket home. I told I told her that I was feeling this way and that I might go home. And she really snapped at me. She said things like she insulted me a bit and then said, like, get the fuck out of my country. And I was kind of speechless at that. So very short after, she got back to me again, and we talked about it. But there were some more, like, sexual things that I had to do against my will. Um, I didn't really realize, like, I talked to my friends sometimes, but not often. I was really ashamed to talk about it. Because in general, I was kind of really shy about having a relationship. But I did, like, when think things were really bad. I didn't know what to do. I'd ask them about it, like asking them, did I do something wrong here? Very early on, they would tell me that the things that she said, like, really didn't make any sense. Like, she would just try to make things along the way, just trying to pick up on anything that she could use against me. um, and they did tell me that she was being bad. but they also didn't know how bad it was. I talked to my friends that I met before, the friends I have in real life, and we have been friends for 10 10 years? 8 or 9 years now. We have never met, but they are the best. I love them so much. I told them about this because I'm more comfortable talking to them about issues. They have so much experience with people who are gaslighting and who are manipulative and generally very bad people. They have so much experience and they're so good at like detecting things like that. So they straight on told me like, break up with this horrible person. This person is doing horrible things to you and you don't deserve it. I think there were a couple of times even before I broke up that I had talked to them about it, and then I had got back together with her, and then I was too embarrassed to tell them because I knew they would get angry. But no, I wanted to believe. Like I was so tired at the point when I was going to break up with her that I realized I really snapped out of it, and she as usual was being really irrational about her accusations. So I was like, it's over. I don't ever want to talk to you again. Don't contact me. And she said okay. But then after a while she came back and she said, and like she admitted everything bad she did, and it sounded really sensible for a while. And then she pleaded to be friends and nothing more. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll give you a chance to be friends. So we were friends for a while, and then like I really didn't get involved with her. But then she told me like that I think she told me that I was making her feel really bad or something, even though because I wasn't very responsive and I wasn't really emotionally involved with her. And she said that I was making her feel really bad, and then I said, you know what, I don't want to be friends. You're making a conflict out of everything. And then she like started arguing again. I deleted her. I blocked her and deleted her. I deleted her everywhere I had contact with her. And then she contacted me on Instagram on another account that she made. And I didn't answer, but I did read. At first I didn't read, I just deleted it because I was so traumatized. But then I read, and of course it was like, first it made sense. Like it looked like she was being reasonable. But then as when it kept going, it became more and more absurd. So like when she made that account, I deleted it together with a message and blocked it. She made a new one. I blocked it and deleted it, and she made a new one. And I blocked it, I deleted it, she made a new one. And then I told my friend that she keeps making new accounts, like it's impossible for me to keep doing it. And I sent a screenshot. I was supposed to censor the username because I didn't want him I didn't want him to go talk to her because I was really scared. and I told him not to do it, but he did, and he actually, like, oh man, he is so fucking nice. He is so awesome. I'm not saying this because he's my friend. Like, the thing he sent my ex, it was such a good message, really. And he wasn't even being, mean or insulting her. Like, he was so rational. I don't know, I just fucking love it. And she didn't dare to, like, say anything against him. And I think it was because he was being so, like, good with how he worded things and how he explained it. But basically saying that she has to stay away from me, and that if I ever want to get in contact with her, that I will do so myself. After that, she never contacted me again until maybe a year after. She had gone back to the social media where we met, sent a couple of messages, and then she deleted them. At that point, I had recovered enough to be able to answer without feeling trauma, I guess, coming back, like remembering what had happened. But I didn't, like, write anything special. Like, I didn't even really address what she said. But basically, she just told me how I could have put up with her for so long, and that she was amazed by it, and then that she said that she met someone that was similar to herself, and that she fucking hated it. Yeah, but she deleted it quite fast after that. Then I think when I turned 20, I think it was when I turned 20 this year, she sent me a message on Instagram on another account, and she said happy birthday and my name after that. I had not, like, I had completely forgotten about her until I saw that message, and the reason I know it was from her was because she used the letters in her name, and I just got so angry, really angry, because for so long I have felt that I have to walk around on my toes, have to be, like, after I broke up with her, there was a journey to recover from everything that happened. Like, for a really long time I was super scared of the ringtone from the texting app. I was really scared of my phone vibrating. I was extremely scared about people misunderstanding what I'm trying to say. I was really scared to not express myself enough. I was really scared to say certain words that she hated. And I was also really scared of certain things that other people would say. Like, as soon as there was anything, like, similar to her, it was this switch turning on, and it just made me horrified. I don't know what to call it, but for a very long time, I still acted the way she wanted me to act. And, you know, it felt like I was always being watched by her. And I kind of realized this, that I was still doing the things that she had modified me to do. So in order to prevent this, I kind of decided to become the thing she hates. And I went all in. Like, there were times she had called me slutty. Like, she believed that I would cheat on her because I was slutty. But I'm that was like, I don't know, I'm definitely not slutty. And even so, like, who the fuck cares? Like, do whatever you want. Also funny because I had never done anything or been in a relationship or anything before her, so she was my first everything. Even like online, I haven't had any kind of relationship online. I've never sent anything suggestive online either, or to someone. So yeah, I don't know how that is slutty. Maybe like Virgin Mary slutty. Instead of having a virgin pregnancy. Let me get another cup of water. Oh yeah, how I recovered. So I became everything she hated. I started acting. It wasn't even slutty in that sense. It was just being. I was very, like, I like to joke around and fool around a lot, and I'm also very open with kinks and BDSM stuff. So I started like talking about it and joking around and using the words that she hated, and it gave me like the control of myself back. But like, a lot of things took a very long time for me to recover from. Like my phone vibrating and calling. I still have issues with calling now, and also with this is also why I have a little bit of extra difficulties with recording, although it's getting a lot better now. Because she made me record sexual things against my will. Yeah, became everything she hated. Used the words. At some point, she had made me delete all my friends from my social media. She didn't tell me to do it, but she had told me that she was very jealous of my friends, and I was so tired also, and I thought that, like, I don't really care, it's just social media, and I deleted them, and I really regret it after a while. But I felt like I needed to prove to her that she's the only one that matters. So I went back, started talking, trying to find my friends again. Started to get more in contact with my friends, like more, and also doing the things that I enjoyed doing before I got into a relationship with her. And also, like, about sexual stuff was something that took, I think that was the thing that took the longest time for me to recover from. Oops. I could not, like, be sexual in any way because it made me feel so nauseous. I think it almost took a year, and maybe it probably took a year for me to recover from that, and then maybe half a year or a little bit more to recover from like how I acted. Yeah, but there were still so many times like I would dream about her in bad situations, of course. And I would also feel like I was being watched by her, and how like we had a lot of images, pictures taken together. I deleted all of them, but some of this stuff I have on a is it called a hard drive, like a USB. And when I saw them, I would kind of get back to feeling really bad. So it took a very long time. After breaking up, I still felt like I'd never felt so good before. Like the anxiety I had from her calling, or like feeling that I always had to tiptoe, it just disappeared. Like I was actually enjoying doing things. And it was so weird because I didn't realize how much anxiety I had and how bad I felt until I broke up with her. Being in the relationship with her put me in this situation that I didn't know whether she would be angry again. Like she was so unpredictable. So I was always having this anxiety that I might say something wrong. So yeah, that was gone when I broke up with her. I guess like there are some things that I guess like still hurts. Like I'm still having scars from what she did to me while I was with her. Which definitely I can't lie. I would lie if I said that this has had no effect on like if I'd get into a relationship that it would have affected that. Like I was a lot more open about I guess who I have a relationship with before, and like I guess sexual things. But now since I had experienced a lot of bad things, there are like my boundaries are a lot stronger, and I'm more aware that, of what people I shouldn't get close to, and also just like if I get into a relationship, I will be so strict with what I want, and I can say for sure that I will never get into a romantic relationship again. If anything, I would, if like I probably won't get into a sexual relationship either. But if I would want to try anything, it would be like platonic, and probably with someone I have been close to for a really long time, that I really know what person it is. And also, if I still have like a huge passion for BDSM, so I still have a lot of kinks I want to try out, but I don't think that I would do anything like sexually. So yeah, I guess those are kind of long-term effects, but I don't know. It feels like I should have some kind of ending, telling you what you can do, or I don't know, advice maybe. I don't know if I have any, but I can say for sure that it's very common to get into this kind of relationship without really being aware of it, even if it's ongoing. A lot of things will be used against you, which is gaslighting. I didn't know anything about gaslighting before, but I read about it after, and like she did like all the things that exist in gaslighting. Besides, I don't know if gaslighting is really like hitting someone or like doing anything physical like that, but besides that, and so my first advice would be like try to read about it so that you're aware of what things are gaslighting and not okay to do. And also, before you start a relationship, try to set boundaries and try to follow them. Before it gets too far, break up. Like, it's better breaking up than, just dragging around with it. And that's probably something that I regret, that when I broke up, that I gave her chances. I shouldn't have done that. So don't give in. Also, make sure to try to find someone you can talk to about it, that can help you, because you're not always aware of what is going on, but other people will see what is wrong with what's happening around you, and what behaviors that are very questionable. So make sure that you get different views on the issue. And yeah, remember that it can happen to anyone, whether you are in a gay relationship, or if you're like this shit happens to guys too. It happens, even if it's maybe more oh god, I forgot the word. Maybe it's more even if it's more common for men to do it against women, there are cases where women will be the same. It's not bound to gender or bound to sexuality. So don't forget that. Just because you're maybe a lesbian couple, that you're free from abuse, because women are, I don't know, this image of women being harmless and not being able to commit violence. It's not true. Anyone and everyone can fall into it. So yeah, be aware. Also try to, maybe if you have no experience to abuse or anything like that, then reading stories from people who have experience with this, that you try to get an understanding, and hopefully it will prevent you from falling into a trap of being abusive without being aware of it. Because also a lot of these things are because of unhealthy expectations, like even in movies and books. There's this thought that you should die for your love. You should do, like, if you love someone, you will do everything and anything. And that's really unhealthy. Maybe there are some people who are genuinely feeling like that and they are doing perfectly fine, but it's not really healthy to be into that kind of relationship, and especially not when it puts pressure on either one part or both parts. So just don't have that kind of expectation on someone else. And yeah, just talking about your expectations of a relationship, and or what your partner or partners have as expectations, and yeah. Sorry if this was super long, but I guess it's good to talk about these things, even though it's really difficult. Because even for me, it's, when I look back, it's hard to, like, it feels like some kind of distant dream that this was all a dream. It never happened. But it may be a way to cope with it, and even like sometimes playing some events down. Like even I had doubts. Like I didn't believe myself even. So yeah. If you listen this far, comment a cat emoji or something. I don't know. When I'm gonna listen to this, I don't know. Hopefully, perhaps. Yeah. But that was my experience with my first and most horrible relationship. I hope to God that I will never get into something like that again. And even so, like, I will never get into an online relationship. Never again. Maybe cynical or strict. I don't care. I will not do it. My friends are enough. I choose my friends very well. I guess you could say that. I will, however, always try to be kind to people, try to respect them, and yeah. Take care and try your best not to get into a toxic relationship. Get rid of whoever is toxic in your life. And you have my love and support. See ya.